Here we are on the 18th of March, 2023, and we're out
Saturday.
at the boardwalk
Yeah, in Maine.
overlooking the bay.
Yeah, we've just taken a walk
Mm-hmm.
and done our qigong.
We have the seagulls and the
Yeah.
pigeons.
And we're thinking about renewing in tabletop
Mm-hmm.
our Creative Life series that we did about, I don't know, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Which are still fabulous, and we still listen to them all the time, and we put them on the long spoon.
Mm-hmm.
And we still share them because they're timeless.
Yeah.
But we think that it would be fun to talk about the creative process in 10 years later in this time.
Absolutely, and how it addresses the environment and the atmosphere that's going on, and our personal lives, and how they interconnect with the interpersonal world and the outer cultural world.
And the soul of our work is alchemy. So
Yeah.
we thread alchemy and our awareness of it in and out of our creative life,
Mm-hmm.
and also the positions in the creative life.
Yeah.
I think in the pandemic there was a lot where people kind of went into this inner zone,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of part of a fallow period.
Yeah.
It's kind of, and in some ways, we've worked with other layers, but we're still kind of, at least for us, in the fallow period.
We
Yeah.
are in the fallow period, and I think that coming out of the pandemic time, there are a lot of people that just raced back into the everyday as quickly as possible, like someone at the gate of a race, and the door opened and out they shot. But there's a big percentage of people that are not cautious, but they're more introspective, and they're more aware of the subtle dynamics of things. So they're not so hell bent on jumping back into the same thing that had been before, because they realized that that was a change for the world. There was a change going on, and they were changed, and now they have to walk around with, what does that mean? How are they in the world now?
Yeah,
So
especially
there's
as a
lot
creative.
there's a lot of introspection about that going on.
And even the world of creativity and how you move it
Yeah.
has changed. I mean, for quite a while, galleries really weren't open, and a lot of studios were not really open to the public, whereas they were before. There wasn't like a sale catch place,
Uh-huh.
and really shows that was right before the pandemic. Well,
Yeah.
that was in the December
Mhm.
2019. That was our last show at the library, which we've done 18 shows there over the last 20
Yeah.
years.
20 years. Yep.
And we already knew it in lots of different ways. We called the show, and we hadn't any idea what was moving. We called it Alchemy, the Soul of Our Work.
Uh-huh.
Closing the door open.
Yeah, that was a really good show.
Yeah.
That was done.
That was really a
Yeah.
very insightful show,
Mhm.
very different. The work we did for it was completely different from the other work we had done for years.
Yeah.
But that's the way I work. Every year it's
Yeah.
different. It's got a whole different focus. But this was very different. And
our
I
shows-
absolutely loved it. It was about alchemy
Yeah.
and the alchemists and history of the alchemists, male and female in the
And
world.
I think all our shows have been where it's a compilation and a connection with the year that we're in as we're doing it, but it also has the foresight of the coming year.
When
So
it's
it bridges those years.
You're
It's the
right.
between.
Well, and every year we prepare a body of work. Takes us about a year.
Yeah.
So when you don't have a place to do it, do you still prepare it?
Yeah.
And we do.
And what does that look like? How is it different?
Yeah, for us, it became actually taking all the work we had,
Yeah.
started to archive it.
Yeah.
Because we do an alchemical read class
Yeah.
every single week. We've done it for 10 years.
Yeah.
But we also have written a lot of books about the creative life, alchemy, the soul, the soul journey, the deep listening, and the deep mystery. And we're so we started making sure all those were sent forward as books. So we then also we create a lot of collages because we've had to work with what's called the Kundalini.
Uh-huh.
It's part of the creative spiritual passage, and I've especially experienced it as a female, and females do experience it through their regular cycling, but this was much bigger, and I had gone through these rises several, times.
Yeah, yeah.
The first one being the hardest, and then the other still being scary. It's almost like homeopathic. It goes, goes its deepest the first time, and the next time it doesn't have to go as deep.
Yeah.
But you're afraid it's going to go as deep.
Yeah.
And then the next time it goes less, and because you have cleared your way. And then finally, it's part of your life, but your body
And you
isn't
get more comfortable with
going
the pattern.
down into the underworld as much.
Yeah, you get used to the pattern of it. That
Yeah.
there's that wave that happens, but then it's the trough is in this, each time it becomes less and less as you're moving through that. So I think with this conversation, we're seeing that the unfolding of creativity is one that is a wave pattern, and then the particle is the kind of the molecular makeup that becomes like the holograph that becomes the seeable part of it.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
So those are like the layers within creativity.
So now we're looking at what does the fallow period look like in this time?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of time a lot of forgiveness and permission that you don't get out of it without getting there.
No.
And you can't get out of it out of demand, not even out of hard work.
Mm-mm. Not even out of a tantrum. You
Yeah,
know?
you get it. You,
You
don't get
cannot
out of it out of a
demand.
tantrum.
Yeah.
And so we've had to learn through the creative life how to be in the fallow period, how to give it permission,
Mm-hmm.
how to render yourself new through it.
Yeah. As we're coming on the tail end of winter, coming towards spring now. That.
Yeah, this is March
Yeah. So yeah, March 18th now. So we're getting real.
2023.
Yeah, we're getting real close. So it's like that. The fallow period in the wintertime, there's that period where people talk about getting cabin fever, where they just feel, I mean, they've enjoyed it. They've enjoyed being inside, being able to tuck in, to be able to read, be cozy, not have quite the world's demands that they normally have to work with. But there's that period where all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I can feel a change coming. And that's that energy coming up from the earth, coming in to the spring coming, where things begin to pop through, pop up. The buds start coming up, and so we're at that transitional phase right now, where like I'm looking across over there, and you can see that real faint light green on that tree, where the buds are just starting to come forward, and so using the fallow period to feel the depth of that underground, deep rooted foundation,
So
And-
that you're ready
yeah,
when you do come up.
and then the desire, the focus, is to draw those nutrients up into you. And people think that they're disconnected from Gaia. I mean, they're walking on the surface. They don't realize that they're part and whole of it. So you can imagine or envision or literally call upon that deep resonant earth energy to come up through you, to bring you nutrients, bring
Well,
you
you can't
life.
on this planet be on anything that isn't part of it.
I know. It doesn't
I mean,
matter.
even the concrete, even the steel,
Yeah.
all of it is part of this
All
planet.
part of they didn't go off
Either
world to go
those-
bring. They didn't go off world to bring the materials here. All of it, no matter what
Correct, but
combination.
we
Well,
don't
yeah,
wanna know.
true. Yeah, we don't want to go. But that's all connected. So no matter what you're standing on, whether you're barefoot on the ground or you're
And no.
on wood or you're in concrete and steel, doesn't
that's
matter.
all part of
You're
it.
still grounded to
Yeah.
the earth. So
Yeah.
we're
Well, I think that last year, we did a lot of book building. We
Yeah,
took
we
all
did.
our classes and moved
and
them into
that's the
beautiful
shape.
books.
That's the shape our
Oh,
creativity was
and
going.
and then put the artwork, because see,
Yeah,
the vision and image is part of what we are about,
Yeah.
because it's a male and female.
Yeah.
We both work on pieces together. We do everything
yeah.
together.
It's the
And-
physicality and the vision
And
woven
that's
together.
the balance, and that's what
Yeah.
we are about in this world, working with this work, with that balance always happening.
Yeah.
And so it is the male and the female.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did a whole book, 300 images on the Kundalini.
Yeah.
Each one like a meditation, each one a collage all to itself.
Yeah.
You could pull out and would bring you to a place in the Kundalini
Yeah.
that you could speak to or could speak to you.
Yeah.
And we've used the reservoir of all the work we've done and when we put it together in a collage, I do that just intuitively. And that was a risk years ago. It's not anymore. It moves very quick for me. And then all at once, the image, once I get it done, then all at once the image speaks, and then I get the words.
Yeah.
And I put them down without any kind of check or any kind of, oh no, better not. I just have to answer to the image. I just
Yeah.
have to be listening. And it's created this wonderful book on the Kundalini that really brings you to your place.
Well,
And
I
then
think that's been
we
the
did one on
volume.
meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The volume of the work is because
Yeah.
of the non-judgment, allowing it to just not to filter it, not to slow it down, but to allow it to come on through.
Well, it was cool because I don't think after that last show we spent so much doing a physical show that all at once the universe made room for it to be a visual show,
Yeah.
but through the images we'd already done, that we
Yeah.
didn't have to create them. And that was a lot of work. And that was what we did. That was the embodiment that
Yeah,
we did
yeah.
the 2 years we were in the pandemic most. And then this year, we're in that fallow period. We're in March. We have there's an alignment that has to happen before you can get into a body of work.
Yeah.
Because it's matrixial, transformative, and transmutational
Yeah.
work. And we work not only with we work with the whole world energy in matrices, but we have to do it by working with the embodiment and the breaking
That's what I
down
was
of
gonna
it in our
exactly what I was
personal
going to
life,
say.
in our creative life.
Gathering up the components of it brings it into an embodiment that allows it to come into form.
You can hear a lot of noises, wonderful noises. We're here at the ocean on the boardwalk in
Yeah.
Rockland, and it's a wonderful place.
It's a beautiful kind of gray-blue day out
Yeah.
here.
We're sitting on a bench at
Yeah.
the corner.
At the corner of the boardwalk.
Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of pigeons and people walking by, and
Yeah,
they're all taking advantage of this.
I know, to have this
reprieve.
day,
Yeah,
not so
this
cold.
day.
Yeah.
It's really wonderful.
Uh-huh.
So that right now we're in that, and it has a lot to do with property, reclamation of property. This is what the world is all fighting over, and this is what the rumble under wars is all about.
Yeah, yeah.
Property, and
It is.
and the world, you could see everybody is starting to take a new view of property, just like women who weren't allowed to have property, and I was one of them. It was like people are, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen anymore.
No, it's old. It's old,
it's-
so it's coming into
Yeah, and
coming into
so
a new form.
There's whole new matrix systems that are being broken down
Yeah, and that's what
universally.
That's what
that
creativity does.
The
is
world
opens
built
it up.
itself on.
Yeah.
But down underneath, they're starting to discover, like in Turkey and all over the world, these worlds that the now world was built on.
Yeah.
That under the sacred areas, the temples areas, the cities, there are other cities.
Yeah.
And then under them
It's
are
fascinating.
other cities.
Yeah.
And other cities. And then there's tunnels where there are civilizations that have lived and some still living down, down, down.
Yeah.
And it's really it's like a paradigm,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's like uh, above and below, but it's also that the above is built on all of the below and how it goes, you know, and into our really our origins. And we've taken a lot of that in this year studying this because it is some kind of importance to the body of work that
Yeah.
we're forming this year,
Mm-hmm.
and that work is forming in in the work of our classes.
Mm-hmm.
The alchemical read is forming in the work of our collages and what we put together, and it's going to be interesting to see what comes up above
Yeah.
that we build
Yeah.
this year, and the embodiment and the work from.
Yeah, it's like gathering all the different components, the different
Mhm.
tools that you need to build whatever the structure is. And we have a good sense of the foundation. It's nice and firm. So those components that are coming into place are the ones that are beginning to show themselves, are coming up above the surface, whether it's uh, ideas, insights, even we talked about is even being kind of like a philosophy of something, where there's a collection of a whole gathering
Of a way of being
of a way, yeah, of a
that
way
roots
of
itself
being, yeah.
deeply,
Thank you, yeah,
making room to root as deep as it needs. So, in this time, it's like more in conversation
yeah,
and creating art that works with conversation, and conversation
mm-hmm.
with our family
Yeah,
and our friends that have been in community. There's 5 of us,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
4 female, and Robert,
Mm-hmm.
male,
That's me.
and we're all different. We have different backgrounds,
Mm-hmm.
but we're all working towards what it is that we're going to build together. We're all home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which is, I don't know, has that happened except on holidays?
I know.
It started with the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and uh,
It's kind of like,
it's
it's almost like disengaging from the matrix. There's a way to, and when, like in that movie, odd as it was, if you disengage from something, then there is something else that's there
That's ready.
instead. There's another thing there. It's not just a complete emptiness.
I found that all
So
my
what
life.
is that?
When I began to disengage from something,
Uh-huh.
and finally when I'm in that part, there is something there for me to step on.
There's always
It
something
is the
there.
mystery of the Grail over and over
Yeah.
again, and it's stepping off the cliff, and you don't see the steps, and then once you disengage from where you're standing,
Mm-hmm.
and you put your foot out, the step appears.
Yeah, yeah.
That has happened for us all our lives.
All our lives.
Yeah.
I remember having a dream.
That's what those stories come out of.
Yeah, shortly
Is
before
that
me.
reality?
Having a dream shortly before I met you, and it was some kind of a building, kind of not complex, but some kind of building area that was being built. And in the dream, there's a specific part of it where I was to step out from the building and trusting that when I did, there would be a platform there that wasn't there. And so, in the dream, I stepped out and then it was there. Not unlike not the same as, but not unlike in the Indiana Jones thing where
Yeah.
all of a sudden that invisible bridge was there,
Mhm.
but he couldn't see it and he just had to trust to take that step.
Yeah.
It's a very similar kind of thing,
Yeah.
as far as an emotional
And
step
when you're
going
preparing,
forward.
I think the step is preparing,
It is.
because
Yeah.
there is a
They're
sentience
happening at
to
the same
everything.
time.
And
Yeah.
when you were preparing, we never met each other.
No,
We did not
no,
know each other.
no.
We were really
In other
actively
lives.
in our lives.
Yeah.
All at once, we both were preparing.
Yeah.
And my life was very unlikely that I would
Yeah.
prepare.
And then our lives intersected and it
then
changed.
we were ready.
Yeah.
And that's the magical of
Yeah, it is magical.
staying with your deep longings, your
Mhm.
deep soul
Mhm.
work, your desire, that what your life, what you want.
Yeah.
It's like it may appear one way because of that, that was what was available. Then finally, the thing that you deeply came for and are prepared for, once you start letting go of what you've been, it
Mhm.
all at once rises up. And
Yeah.
I just have never, ever not had that step, a rise
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And so this is what we're doing this year.
Yeah.
We have no idea how things will move. We know no. Every year when we used to do the shows at the library, we always knew we had that show. So
Yeah.
we'd begin at the beginning of the year, and it was so wonderful to know you had a place for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our place now is different. It's
Mhm.
it's different.
Mm-hmm. It is
It
different.
may be more technological, more etheric.
Yeah.
It's on a bigger scale than it's ever been.
Yeah. It's not.
So,
It's not as local. It's more.
yeah.
More. It's broadcast in a wider
A
circle.
universal way.
Yeah, a
Whereas we've
universal way.
been working with universal, but presenting local.
Yeah.
And it's shifting.
And that's. Yeah.
and it's a little
shifting now.
shaky under your feet.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much what this is. Shaky,
Mhm.
the shaky foot time.
The shaky foot. That's the name of this one. Is the shaky foot.
Time.
Yeah. And
it's when
and
you're coming
anyone
out
that's
of that period of slowness, and then you're getting ready to move into movement.
yeah.
Shaky foot,
Yeah. It is the shaky foot time.
because you don't see where the movement's going.
No, but it's building. You and it are building at the same time, and that you begin as that happens in the creative life. Then you become used to it more and
Well,
more.
I find that we're working less with the past.
Mm-hmm.
We're working with the is of the past, but we're working less with past, but more with stepping the now and stepping forward.
Yeah, and feeling that the future is meeting us more quickly. It's coming in this direction toward us at I think a faster pace.
it's quite fairy tale.
It is. It
Well,
is.
how many?
I
this
think
is
that's pretty
21?
good. I think
Okay.
it's a good.
Well, that's a
good
nice
show.
time for the creative life.
Yeah.
And we love talking about this to create this space. It feels good again to talk about, because we've been kind of underground.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So this is kind of the shoots beginning to pop up above ground again.
yeah.
So
Thank you for
Thank you
listening.
for listening. Thank you for joining us, and we'll have another Creative Life show soon.
A place to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Bye for now.